make a way.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the virtual North Wilkesboro Speedway. Well, this is a little different, isn't it? It's the Esports Racing League, the ERL Showdown from North Wilkesboro. We've got the street stocks out here ready to go. 100 laps, $50 on the line. Jacob Pitts, Anthony Alfredo here with you. Zach Johnson, our producer. And we've got, 21 drivers here to wrestle for $50. Should be a fun time.
I'm really excited to be back with the Esports Racing League. This is something I worked hard on quite a few years back to bring this into existence, and it's been about a year hiatus since we've been competing in this league, but I'm beyond excited to be back with it. Should be extremely competitive. Got a great group of drivers that are willing to compete throughout this 11-race season, but we're planning some large single events throughout the year as well, which will be very exciting. But this schedule is all over the place. You guys are definitely not going to want to miss a race. Just be sure to come tune in on our channel every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And be sure to check out the schedule on our social medias at ERL_racing. And feel free to join the Discord community as well. You might even have a chance to race with us.
Let's run through our starting grid here quickly. It's a little all over the place. Some drivers you may know, some drivers you may not know. Presley Sora, the two-time Monday Night Racing winner, starts on the pole position. Caden Rush to the outside. Matt Busa will eventually start in third. There he is, just spawned on the racetrack. Brian LaPrade lines up on the outside. And to wrap up the Coke driver parade, 3, 4, 5, Zach NOVAK lines up in position number 5. Alex Bell, he'll line up in 6th. Gary Sexton in 7th. Ronnie Osmer 8th. Vincent Soren 9th. And Chandler Parsons rounds out the top 10. Looking back through the rest of the 11 drivers behind him, Jeff McConey in 11th, David Schildhouse in 12th, Justin Lisenby in 13th, Blake Reynolds 14th, Nathan Rabidou 15th, Jake Matheson 16th, Logan Helton in the 17th spot, then Justin Mons, Dylan Connolly, Michael P. Frisch rounds out our top 20, and shotgun in the field, Landon Huffman. Back to front challenge. I like the shot that Landon could have tonight. All right, field is rolling. Again, 100 laps up on the board. Presley Sora on the pole, as I mentioned. So these guys should do one more lap, and then we'll get the eventual green flag. Return to this series, as you mentioned, Anthony. It's been a while. Good to be back, and of course the schedule on the horizon. It just keeps getting better and better and better. I know there's some good stuff coming up.
Oh, it's going to be exciting for sure. It should be an entertaining race. This is a short track and cars that you could do a lot of beating and banging in, honestly. There's just these things are like tanks, so I think with good drivers and cars that are pretty forgiving, we definitely have a lot of excitement in store tonight.
Here we go. Pace car brings him around through 3 and 4, and he's going to want to get out of the way because these guys are ready to wrestle for $50 on the line. Pace car makes the hard left turn on a pit road, and the ERL Showdown from North Wilkesboro is underway.
Ronnie Osmer already working in that top side way up high in 1 and 2. I'd be curious to see if we have a lot of multi-groove racing tonight. I definitely know we'll see some 2-wide side-by-side action, but that top groove's been coming in the last few races I've watched here, so I'm excited to see if there's any speed to be had up there as the race goes on and the rubber lays down.
And the top side's working for the lead. Caden Rush around the outside of Presley Sora. Not quite clear. Now he is clear. Slams the door into turn number 3. So move that 88 machine, or the 17 as it appears on the ticker, out in front. Meanwhile, you mentioned Ronnie Osborne. He's having a heck of a time right now up on that outside line. He's got Gary Sexton and Alex Bell to the inside. Chandler Parsons, among others, right behind. And Gary lost the bottom there. Washes up, almost gets into Parsons. Oh, man. Big stack up. Vincent Sora got sideways.
I know. I thought he was going straight into the pit wall right there, and he was going to split his car right across that. Thankfully, he saved it and was able to blend back on the track without any chaos occurring.
Justin Mons got beat around there in the back of the pack. Keeps it rolling, keeps the fenders on it. And the best battle right now on the racetrack's also the first battle on the racetrack. It's Chandler Parsons on the outside, Alex Bell and that 15 on the inside, David Schildhaus lurking in the background as well. Chandler's now just going to try and run away and catch the top 5 because they have scooted away. Rush out to about a 2-3 car length lead. Sora in second, then another car length back to Busa. Novak and LaPrade nose to tail behind him. And then Osmer in that 6th spot trying to bridge the gap between the top 5 and the rest of the pack. Oh, we got a spinner. Gary Sexton around. Off turn 4, caution's out. Gary Sexton goes around and brings out the first caution flag of the day. And that number 1 Battle Beaver machine, it had a little bit of help in going around. Coming off of corner number 4. Let's get a replay here. It's the 26 of Vincent Sora right behind him. A little bit of a stack up, and Sora gets into the back of him and turns that number 1 machine around. Everybody able to avoid him? And he'll back it up and get it rolling and stay on the lead lap, so he'll drop to the tail of the field. 4 sets of tires on pit road for these guys to use if they have to. And we might see a couple of the guys in the back try and use them here. 100 laps, track temp, 108 degrees. So these Goodyear tires are going to be melting off these race cars. The longer and longer we go green. 1 faster pair for everybody. So Gary shouldn't have to use it here. And actually, everybody stays out under this caution.
There's only 3 sets of tires, as you mentioned, so I don't think anyone's going to take them this early. And the street stock's unique. I feel like we actually see speed come in this car the longer you run for about the first 10 laps. Then it maybe starts to plateau and eventually fall off, but not as much as some of the other cars you see. So I think these drivers have options to stay out a little bit longer than they may usually.
Pace car brings them around to start finish, and we'll keep on pacing. Cautions kind of go a little bit faster since we are at a short track, smaller distance that these guys have to drive, quicker lap time, so even under caution things move along a little bit quickly, even though it may seem like it takes an eternity for some. Caden Rush continues to lead this race. Presley Sora sits now in position number 2. Busa 3rd, Novak 4th, LaPrade in 5th, and Osmer, Parsons, Schildhaus, Reynolds, Matheson round out your top 10. There is no choose, but the leader can choose, and Caden Rush is picking the outside line for the restart. So he'll go to the outside, Sora will go to the inside, and everybody else will double up behind him. And the outside worked well for Rush on that last restart. Even though Sora was the pole car, Caden, it took him a couple laps, maybe 2-3 laps, but he was able to get by that 98. So let's see what Brown can do for Rush this time around with UPS on the nose. And here they come. Pace car is in. Side by side, bring him back down, Rush on the gas, and green flag. We're back to racing here in North Wilkesboro.
Ronnie Osborne keeps looking 3 wide at the top and 1 and 2 on these starts. Gets a huge run down the back straight. I just think he gives up too much distance in the corner, but I'm wondering if that's going to come in later in this race. There's another one spinning back in the back of the field. He saved it. He got up on the curb, straightened it out. I think that was Caden Rush again.
No, that's Gary again.
Oh, that
Bounced
was
off.
Gary.
Yep, bounced off the 44 Dylan Connolly in the McConey setup shop machine, but keeps it back going. So rough night for Gary, gets a little worse for wear, but nonetheless, he'll keep on driving. Much better restart for Caden Rush that last time. Had a clear shot into turn number 1 on the
Jumped
restart.
out there.
Yeah, he's gone.
I love watching this track. There's so many different ways you can approach it and the lines you can take through the corner. You can have a big arc and get down to that curb late, get a nice straight run off, or you can actually drive in really low and shallow and run up in the center and cut back down, kind of diamond the corner. But, I mean, we got phenomenal racing for what looks to be the 6 or 7 spot here. 3 wide, 2 wide.
Yeah, Chandler Parsons about ate it in the middle of 3 and 4 that last time by. That kind of stacked everybody up. Schildhouse in the middle, Osmer on the outside, and Blake Reynolds downstairs in that 66 black and red car. They've sorted it out, kinda. You got Matheson waiting right behind, and don't look now, that 21, picking him up, putting him down, Landon Huffman. He's cracked the top 15, side by side for 13th with Jeff McConey.
These cars do not look as easy to drive as I expected. The setup must be a little bit free. This is the iRacing fixed setup, so everyone's on the same setup as their competitor, but it looks tricky on the front half of a run. Everyone's a little bit squirrely and throughout the corner, a little bit free maybe, but I'm sure it'll come to them the longer they run.
Whoa! Parsons leaning on Osmer. He's sideways up the hill. 3 wide, they save it, and Osmer's going to lose almost half a dozen spots in a corner, getting roughed up by Chandler Parsons. Woof. And now, here comes Blake Reynolds to the inside. He wants a piece of that 72. He goes to the bottom. Parsons gets hit from behind by Schildhouse. Reynolds gets the spot, maybe, not quite clear.
The leaders are just driving away because the racing is so tight for that 6th or 7th spot.
Landon Huffman 3 wide, further back on these guys. Almost some contact. That's Osmer and Vincent Sora 3 wide that he takes. He's going to get 1 spot out of it. Osmer's been drop kicked now back to P12. He's almost 3 wide again with Jeff McConey and Alex Bell. He has really dropped back since the green flag. And here comes Huffman now to get by the 26. That puts Landon inside the top 10 after just 20 laps.
I can't believe how that top 5 group of cars has just driven away. And it's interesting watching the 75 run that little bit of a higher line. That's Matt Busa in 1 and 2, carrying a little bit more center speed maybe and getting a better run on the exit, making the straightaways longer both into the corner and off the corner. It doesn't look like he's necessarily able to make a pass yet, but actually now he's looking to the low side underneath Presley Sora.
He's been closing in on the back bumper of that 98, and got to figure for guys like Sora and for guys like Rush to have 3 Coke drivers right behind you, it can be a little intimidating, I would have to imagine, especially as you get longer in a run. As Chandler Parsons, he's driving like Rajah Caruth. He's turning right coming off the corner, and he's losing a little bit of time as Landon Huffman gets by him. But that 72, he is all over the place right now.
This is exciting racing. I mean, we've still got quite a ways to go. Only about a quarter of the way in here as they cross the stripe, but we're in for it. I think it's going to be pretty intense because this is early on and the racing's only going to get better.
I'm sure as the tires start to wear, they're going to be sliding a little bit more. Let's turn our attention back up to the front because Matt Busa trying once again to work on that 98 of Presley Sora. And the 5 is ZACK NOVAK, kind of peeked to the inside that last time by. He's going to do it again here into 1. But Busa, just with that middle line, gets to launch off turn 2 and is able to clear that Tony the Tiger machine by a car length off the corner.
Let's look at this top 5 for a moment. We've got Caden Rush leading Presley Sora, and the 3 tailing the 2 of them in that top 5 breakaway is ZACK NOVAK, Matt Busa, and Breyer LaPrade. 3 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers, extremely talented. Wins between multiple wins between 2 of the 3, and of course ZACK NOVAK with a world championship. So pretty cool to see who's running this combo. I know a lot of people always want to see some of the most competitive iRacers in the world drive interesting car and track combos, and that's what we're trying to accomplish with the Esports Racing League.
Well, and the 2 guys in front of the Coke Series drivers, they're not slouches either. Presley Sora, he's won twice in Monday Night Racing. You're not racing just up against any old buddy in that series, and he's won twice. Caden Rush, he's extremely fast no matter where he goes. No real surprise to see him out in front. The question is, how long can they outpace the Coke Series drivers? Because you'd think that these guys with the black stripes on the rear bumpers are going to catch and eventually pass this top 2.
You're exactly right, and that's what I was saying. Was it was more of a compliment, the fact that the 2 of them are outrunning these eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers right now, unless they're trying to out-experience them by saving their tires maybe a little bit more for later in this race. I mean, we see ZACK NOVAK trying to complete the pass on Matt Busa, almost clear on the front straightaway, but it's going to be pretty interesting to see the way the rest of this race shakes out amongst these guys. But I know a lot of them were excited about all the unique car track combos, and not even that as much as some of the unique events we have. We've got the Soapbox Derby, an elimination race where last place is eliminated every other lap, and the Radical at Kansas. There's some crazy concepts on this schedule, that's all I can say, and I hope everyone's excited about them, because this is just the beginning.
Yeah, man, back and forth between the 5 and the 75. NOVAK gonna hold on the outside line, and I don't know if you saw it there going into 1. Presley Sora in that 98, he kind of missed the corner. He went up to the middle line, maybe searching for some speed. Couldn't quite get the thing to work. He's gonna go back up there this time in turn 1 and almost chop the nose off the number 5.
This is picking up. The business in the field is getting quite a bit intense. Matt Boos is able to hold off ZACK NOVAK there, cross back over and get the spot. Or rather, Presley Sora hold off ZACK NOVAK, and I think what I said before about that experience, it looks like Zach's going to pick his way through the field here and maybe catch Caden.
NOVAK is the fastest car on the field that last time by, a 10th quicker than both Sora and Rush, side by side for position number 2. I'm sure Caden Rush really likes to see that. As trouble for Justin Mons, he's off the pace, he's back rolling. Think he went for a slide in turns 1 and 2. Still side by side for second. Sora on the outside, ZACK NOVAK on the inside through 3. Got it.
This is one of my favorite tracks on the sim. It's just such great short track racing, multiple grooves. We see the intensity just maintained throughout the course of a run, and that's exactly what we want to see as in the booth. So we have something to talk about, and obviously the fans watching at home able to see some sort of action throughout the field.
NOVAK definitely catching the race leader in Caden Rush, side by side for third. Great launch for Sora on the high side there, coming through the back straightaway, and ZACK NOVAK has a foot in the door, almost side by side. Better launch for Rush in his line off the corner, but ZACK NOVAK is hungry. He wants the lead.
He is rolling that bottom so well. It's hard to beat that run off the top on exit, but he just carries so much speed through the center, wrapping that curb tight as you see there. Unbelievable. It looks like he's about to complete this pass. If not here, then probably down in turns 1 and 2.
Still side by side. Caden drives it in deep. Both cars, the rear tires lighting up, going through the corner.
Got a little loose. Yeah, you saw that.
Oh, he hit him.
Oh, he's gonna give him. Is he gonna give him the bumper? No, he didn't. I thought he was gonna give it back to him again after he got into him there down the back straightaway. That was pretty intense. I think Caden's gonna just fall in line here, maybe learn something from Zach, or just try to cool his tires back down, make another charge at him. But he's still close. Zach's not driving away quite yet.
Well, and I think with that, they were talking on the radio as they were completing the pass, so I think that was an incidental contact. But how about the battle for third? Busa holding on, Sora up on the high side, Breyer LaPrade and that 88 machine trying to follow suit behind the 75. And this is allowed Jake Matheson in the blue 52 to close in, Blake Reynolds in the 66, and the 21 of Landon Huffman.
You're right. This front half of the field is growing larger. A lot of guys have caught them as they've been battling and slowing each other down, and or they've been able to manage their tires better at the front half of this race or run and work their way up to the front of the pack so that they can try to pass some of these cars that maybe wore their tires out. I mean, we see Presley dropping back throughout this run as it's going longer and longer under green flag conditions. So I'd say his tires are more worn out than a lot of these other guys.
Just here on the tires squeal. How about the 52 of Matheson? He has caught this second pack, I guess you can call it second pack, with Sora. You got Busa there as well as the Prad, and that 52 is moving his way up to the front. Oh man, Breyer!
Unbelievable. That was a close call.
Here comes Matheson. He's making the top work. Oh, man, they're both sideways. Here comes Landon. Landon's ripping the top like it's a dirt track. They are 3 wide. Matheson in the wall. Here comes Reynolds on the bottom. All of this for 5th. And Reynolds sends it. Can he stick it? Barely. They are 4 wide with Landon Huffman. Sending it on the bottom.
Gosh. This is just intense.
You cannot get away with that, but they did. I mean, he's figured it out. Chandler Parsons thinks something is broken on his car. He has fallen all the way back to 16th. That 72 has become evil to that driver right now. Just a couple of laps away from halfway, and Caden Rush is back on the rear end of the number 5 ZACK NOVAK. Battle for the lead to turn number 3, side by side between Rush and ZACK NOVAK. Still side by side. Rush with the edge up off the corner. And next time by will be halfway. Caden Rush back to the top spot. And here comes NOVAK right back to the bottom.
No kidding. This racing is unbelievable at the front of the field. This is what I wanted to see. We're 50 laps in, coming to halfway here this time. A lot of racing to go, and the business is picking up.
And that's allowed Busa to close in, as well as Presley Sora. And now Blake Reynolds is in that 5th spot. Brian LaPrade has fallen back to 8th. He got passed by Reynolds, Matheson, and Huffman. Here we go for the lead again. NOVAK on the outside. Here comes Busa. How about 3 wide for the lead?
Awesome action here at the front of the field. It just keeps getting better and better.
Oh, Busa lost it. Down on the bottom, he saves it. But that's going to hurt Caden Rush, and that's not going to allow him to get back to the 5 right away. Oh, man, Busa. Up on the high side. How about Blake Reynolds? He'll take over 3rd. Maybe. If he can clear
I can't
him.
tell.
Yes.
I mean, this 75 looks sideways every exit. I'm watching Busa smoke the right rear tire when he comes off the corner. He's like in a drift competition right now.
Yeah, I think those rear tires are screaming for mercy. The track temperature, as of right now, 109 degrees. It's gone up since pre-race. So these rear tires are screaming right now for that 75, and he's going to drop back. Landon Huffman passes him, as well as Matheson. And here comes Rush once again, looking to the inside. Lap traffic ahead, and Jeff McConey.
Well, we talked about this weather.
Oh,
90
Reynolds!
degrees clear. Oh my gosh, I was so close in the corner. Unbelievable. 90 degrees outside, clear. This track temp is roaring, and I just can only imagine how much of a handful these street stocks are around this racetrack right now.
Let's see where the 03 goes as the leaders are there. He goes all the way up to the top. Caden Rush is going to push Blake Reynolds up the racetrack. He's going to push him up again, try and use that 03 as a pick going into turn number 1. Oh, and Reynolds pinches him down. They made it.
This is getting interesting with the lap traffic. This is one of the hardest parts as a race leader is you're the first one through that has to navigate your way. You're making these holes and everyone else just gets to follow you through them. So it gives them the opportunity to catch up, just like Blake Reynolds right here. He's able to make a move because Zach Novak got slowed up. So side by side here off turn 2 down the back straightaway. We'll see if Zach's going to be able to hold off Blake, but it's going to be tough.
This is for the lead. Coke Series drivers duking it out once again here at the front. Reynolds on the inside, Novak on the outside. You've got Rush and Presley Sora waiting right behind these guys. And then Landon Huffman, hello, he's cracked the top 5, passing Matheson there in turn 1. And Blake Reynolds is almost clear for the lead. Still side by side, the 5 up on the outside, the 66 down on the bottom. Still not clear.
They're all loose into the corner, it looks like. They're slipping into the corner. It looks like they gather back up, come the center, but when they pick the throttle up for corner exit, they get sideways again. These rear tires are just screaming, and it's got to be very challenging to drive this late into the run. You saw Zach Novak just slip right there and almost tag the wall off of turn 4.
New leader, Blake Reynolds, officially. Here comes Presley Sora looking for second, but he's got a hungry driver in that 21, not 75 tonight, right behind him. Going to allow Reynolds to break away.
This is interesting. Presley Sora fell all the way back to what, 5th or 6th place, and he's clawing his way back up to the top 3, racing for second right now with Landon Huffman. This is
whoa, Novak!
Oh, I thought he was going to get run into the back of once he had to lift to save it. Maybe he didn't save his tires as good as I thought. He seems to be struggling more than anyone right here. 3-1.
Michael P. Frisch round the outside in that 58 machine. Oh, and Matheson! Oh, man, Matheson for a big block!
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I don't see this lasting much longer without a caution coming out.
Matheson threw a big block on Caden Rush, and Caden Rush said no thank you and booted him up out of the way and almost put Frisch into the fence. How about Sora and Huffman? This is wrestling for second. Blake Reynolds has more than a second lead. Oh, Novak drifting it. Can he save it? Yes.
I'm watching everyone drift it right now. Boost is, as a matter of fact, in the back of the
caution.
Field. Oh, well.
I think it's Matt Busa.
I was just calling that live. He didn't actually spin out.
No.
He brought the yellow out because of how sideways he was drifting that car through 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was it. Nobody else was stopped on the racetrack. Well, incredible. Yeah. And nobody else was stopped on the racetrack. So Blake Reynolds is your leader. And yeah, pits are open. It's a busy place. Inside 50 laps to go. They want tires badly. Comes Frisch. He's going to be second off of pit road. Now, I don't know these cars enough. Novak only 10 seconds in the box. Frisch only 13. Parsons stayed out. And then you've got Reynolds on back. Well, I guess Parsons may have been the free pass. I don't know. But everybody else, pretty much 20-second stops. Does that mean Novak and Frisch only took 2 tires here?
I think a lot of these guys just took 2 tires, and Presley Sora took 4. That's why he lost so many spots. I've heard of this car being very comfortable to drive on 2 tires, but that would surprise me. A 75 lap run or 65 lap run? That's unbelievable.
So we are under our second caution. We'll get a restart with, I think, about 32 laps to go. NOVAK continues to lead. Frisch is now in second. Landon Huffman is fourth. The last time I was calling a race at North Wilkesboro... What is NOVAK doing? Did he biff it? Oh, no, he's coming back. No, he took a quick nap.
Getting word from the drivers, this car has been such a handful. They're all drenched in their racing simulators. ZACK, in fact, pulled over so that he could go turn on his fan and turn it towards him because he needs to cool down. He's sweating bullets from driving this race car so hard.
Big fan. All right. The last time I called a race here at Wilkesboro, Landon Huffman and Michael P. Frisch were beating door handles coming to the finish line to try and win a race here in Core. We may get something like that tonight. 30 to go, green flag in the air, a great launch for NOVAK. Here comes that 15. How about Alex Bell, 3 wide, and that's going to split the 88 of Brian LaPrade. They sorted out, and now NOVAK retains the lead. Here comes Blake Reynolds in that 66 side-by-side behind Huffman and Frisch.
I can only imagine how exciting the racing is going to be now that these guys have 4 Mr. Feel-Goods, as we like to call them. The 4 tires after running along like that just make the car handle so much better. It feels so good behind the wheel, but it still doesn't look very easy to drive on the front half of a run or the back. They're a glimpse of 4 wide further back in the pack.
And Brian LaPrade is just getting bullied back there. He's going to lose a couple more spots. He gets hit again on corner exit by Logan Helton. He is not having a fun time right now in that 88. How about Frisch working on third with Blake Reynolds? Landon Huffman now sits in second, and NOVAK has scooted ahead by about half a second over the rest of the field. Oh! Bell hits the wall, 3 wide, Busa downstairs, Matheson in the middle. We got one on the grass. Justin Mons.
Look at this
corner.
Look at this 3 wide action. Oh, almost got pinched in the fence right there off 4. They're just racing all the way across the field. We see ZACK driving away from Landon Huffman just a little bit, and then an even larger gap from second to third. It's Blake Reynolds behind Landon Huffman. So I'm assuming here, now that ZACK has fresh tires, he's pushing a lot harder because he doesn't have to make it as far, right? So he doesn't need to save as much tire for the long run because it's not quite a long run. It's much shorter than what we saw earlier in this race. So he's probably banking on it going green. He's just going to run as hard as he can here. And I think we see a couple guys like Blake Reynolds who are super strong very, very late in that run, about the time that caution came out, 60 to 65 laps in, who are probably going to manage their tires and maybe bank on a late race restart so they could use that extra grip to work their way forward.
That last time by, Landon Huffman was quicker than the driver in the number 5 by about half a tenth.
He's chipping away at it. You can see
what it is here this time. A little bit even. Huffman just 2 100ths faster than the 5. "21 laps to go." Just about even between these two cars that last time by. You just see the different lines. Landon kind of running that outer line. NOVAK still hugging the bottom like he has been all race long.
Landon's just tailing Zach right here. Look at his arc into turn one. Huge arc, cuts down late on exit, hits a late apex, gets a straight run down the back straightaway. Carries a lot more speed than Zach, and that's where he's making up most of his time. 3 and 4, they're about equal entry to center, but Landon seems to be able to hold the car lower.
Man, who was that?
No caution for that. No caution somehow. We need an instant replay of that.
He was pointed to the inside wall. Like, he wasn't just a little sideways. He was very sideways.
That was an incredible save. Gotta respect Ronnie for having the dude wipe colors on that car. Love to see that.
Here it is. This is it. Oh, Breyer gets into the back of him.
He's got it. Oh, it bounced off the car outside of him, actually. What a save, and great job by Breyer to stay off him.
I'm sure the last thing that these guys, the leaders, want is a caution. They just want to go clear to the end. So we'll have 16 laps to go this time by. NOVAK just a touch faster that last time by, as he showed how side by side with Bell in the 1572 of Chandler Parsons right behind.
There's racing.
Oh, both leaders!
Field.
Both leaders bounced it off the fence coming off turn number 2.
Zach is pushing as hard as he can. Watch this exit right here. You see how much lower Landon Huffman is? Right, about half a car width. He's getting a straighter run, squatting the back of the car down those rear tires, getting better forward drive, better momentum. And then same thing back here. Runs a bigger arc through the corner and just gets a straighter run off the corner. And he's entering lower, but still managing to exit lower than Zach right here off turn 4. And I think that's where a lot of his speed is. Zach seems to be running the car a little bit wider, trying to carry a lot of momentum, but I think that's going to hurt the tires. There's still 15 laps to go. I think Landon's going to be able to make something happen as long as he just keeps stalking him right here.
Meanwhile, Blake Reynolds has settled into that position number 3. Frisch right behind, and Presley Sora holding down the fort in 5th with his brother Vincent right behind him in the 26. "12 laps to go this time by between Zach NOVAK and Landon Huffman."
This race has flown by. So much green flag racing action. Very short, very quick, but there's no telling us what's going to happen at the end of this race. All I will say is there are 3 green-white checkered attempts in the Esports Racing League, so if it comes down to it, that's what we'll see out of these guys. We know the intensity picks up, and cautions breed cautions, but we've got to see one first before we worry about that.
I have a feeling Landon may use the bumper. He's not going to wreck him. At least he's going to try not to. He may use that bumper, though. May use that chrome horn, try and bump the 5 up and out of the groove. But we'll see. We're coming to 10 laps to go. 2 handfuls from Barney the Flagman. And Caden Rush is even saying, Landon, you better give him the business for the win. We'll find out. Landon goes to the outside here, trying to diamond the corner. Both just falling off evenly at this point. 20.4 is for both of them that last time by. This time around, NOVAK just 8 1/1000ths faster.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of leveled off. It's just, this is what I was speaking about earlier in the race. 2 different approaches to the racetrack, 2 different ways to attack it. Many different lines you can take, and we're seeing 2 options here between these 2 drivers. They seem to be running the same pace, just Zach can't get away from Landon, but Landon can't seem to have enough pace to get the pass done unless he's just going to wait till the last lap, because he for sure is close enough to pull off the notorious bump and run.
Everybody in the top 10 is within 1/10 of a second except for one. Briar LaPrade set the fastest lap of the race with a 20.383. This time around, he's still in the 20.3s. Problem is, he's back in 8th spot, and we've got 6.5 laps to go. So maybe too little too late.
I 100% agree with you. I think we're gonna need a late caution for him to make something happen. But this battle for the lead, don't forget about Blake Reynolds. He's in the catbird seat. He's a little bit further back, about half a second. But if these two get together, he's close enough to pounce and make a move or drive past both of them if something wild happens on the last lap or even maybe earlier.
We've seen wild things happen here before. Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt going into turn number 1 and wipe it out, allowing Jeff Bodine to win. 5 laps to go. Here from North Wilkesboro, ZACK NOVAK leads, and Landon Huffman, whoa, did he biff turn number 1? He lost a good 1/10 of a second.
Not sure he biffed it as much as he actually tried to run a little bit higher and find something. I think he's struggling to stay caught up with Zach or be close enough to make something happen. So he's trying to see if he can make the pass, pull it off. But if he stays close enough, this is short track racing, and I won't be surprised to see some contact as long as he's close enough. If I were him in this position, I would stay close enough to just make it happen on the last lap, ideally in turns 3 and 4, because if you move someone, you can expect to be moved back. So you want to do it at the last second possible so that they can't get back to you and do the same thing to you. You want to be able to do it in the final corner and come away with the win, because if you do it too early, they might just do it right back to you and you'll still end up with the short end of the stick.
Here we go. Popsicle sticks here at the start-finish line. 2 laps to go for ZACK NOVAK. $50 on the line. Landon Huffman just a tick faster that last time by. He is in the tire tracks of the 5, about 2/10 back. Let's say a car length and a half on the 5. Here they come through 3 and 4. They will make it. We will not need overtime. Barney the flagman with the white flag in the wind. 1 more lap to go here from North Wilkesboro in the ERL showdown. ZACK NOVAK leads. He was just a hair faster than Landon. Here they come down the back straightaway. Can Huffman do anything to get by number 5? He'll drive it in deep to turn number 3. He gets to the back bumper. He can't move him. ZACK NOVAK puts the power down and wins the ERL showdown.
That was awesome. I thought Landon was going to be close enough to make something happen. It looked like he shipped it off into turn 3 to try to get there and pull off the bump and run, but he just couldn't get close enough, and all that speed he carried. It was a huge crash after the line, but I think after he carried that much speed in the corner and couldn't get to him and use the bumper of the 5 as his brake, he just kind of shot up the track and missed him. He couldn't make it happen. But congratulations, ZACK NOVAK, ERL Showdown winner presented by Makoni Setup Shop. Big thanks to Makoni Setup Shop for sponsoring the race and everyone who came out to compete tonight. A lot more racing to go on Wednesday nights. Zach is your Season 4 winner to start the year.
Oh, what the heck? That's Shieldhouse and the
Listenby.
31 of Listenby. Yep. Oh my.
Never a lack of content in the Esports Racing League.
Nope. So next week, as of now, it looks like throwbacks at Hickory. The 87 cars.
Yep, we have the Throwback Nationals. It's going to be a big race at Hickory Motor Speedway in the 1987 car. Going to remind us of the past and what once was. It's the birthplace of NASCAR stars, as they call it. One of my favorite tracks in real life and on the Sims. Was so happy when it came back out, and it was just, necessary to run a throwback race there with the 1987 cars. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we have a big turnout, a lot of throwback schemes, a lot of excitement, and that car, just like this street stock, just always puts on an excellent show. And on a short track, who knows what can happen, but it should be full of action, and I'm excited to see how that goes.
Let's take a look at our results here from North Wilkesboro. ZACK NOVAK, your winner, $50 richer for the driver, the number 5. Landon Huffman almost completed the back-to-front challenge. He finishes in 2nd. Blake Reynolds finishes in 3rd. Michael P. Frisch in 4th. Vincent Sora beats out his brother Presley for 5th. Presley finishes 6th. Caden Rush 7th. Jake Matheson 8th. Brian LaPrade 9th. Matt Busa rounding out the top 10. Here's the rest. Logan Helton in 11th. Ronnie Osmer 12th. Nathan Rabideau in 13th. David Shieldhouse finishes 14th. Chandler Parsons 15th. Justin Lisenby 16th. Rough night for Gary Sexton. He finishes in 17th. Alex Bell, he started 6th. He plummeted to 18th. Dylan Connolly finishes 19th. Jeff McConey 1 lap down in 20th, and a lap down in 21st. Justin Mon. So, Let's talk with our race winner, ZACK NOVAK. Maybe he's here.
Let me drag him in. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. ZACK NOVAK, $50 richer. You had a really good short track driver, Landon Huffman, right behind us, though. Take us through those last 10 laps or so.
Well, first off, I'm probably like $40 richer because Anthony's gonna take the entry fee out of my winnings. But yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun. Honestly, I was pretty skeptical on racing street stocks at this track, but that produced some awesome racing. So kudos to Anthony and everyone who set this up, because it was much more fun than I expected. But Landon definitely was really fast coming from the back. I took 2 tires there to kind of gamble. I burnt my tires off pretty bad, but I noticed the left sides weren't that bad, so I took 2 tires just to see what it would do, and it had a ton of grip. It was actually pretty surprising. I figured I'd be a bit freer, but it was tighter, and it kind of came in there the last 10 laps or so. So I think I just got kind of lucky with that, but overall, like I said, really fun race.
It was definitely exciting for us to watch. I think I thought Landon was gonna be close enough to give you the bumper. Did you think so?
Yeah, I did until probably 3 or 4 to go. I chained together some really good laps, and he wasn't quite close enough to the point where I knew I could just kind of ship it into 3, and he wouldn't have a chance. So, but yeah, like I said, it kind of came to me the last 5 to 10 laps, and it was on a rail. It was crazy.
Well, how about it? Are you glad at least you were on this side and not in Landon Huffman's seat where you would have had to try and get by him as the laps were ticking away?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I could, set my own pace, and like I keep saying, it came to me around 10 to go, but right around that point is kind of when Jimmy was telling me that my line looked a little weird. He wasn't sure, if Landon was catching me or not, but my pace was still fine. So he was just like, stick to it and see what happens. And it just kept coming to me the last few laps, and it got faster and faster. So definitely pleased with how the racing went, though. It was a lot of fun brawling. There's some comers and goers with the tire wear on the right rear. So overall, definitely enjoyed that a lot.
So it was a good first race back for the ERL, you would say, and you're excited for the rest of the season?
Oh yeah, if I'm being honest, it exceeded my expectations. I really enjoyed the fact that it was a clean race, very few cautions. We had guys capable of being able to brawl and use the car like a street stock should be used. A little beating and banging. So really enjoyed that. Glad we had a good race, and definitely. Start off on the right foot.
Excellent.
Well, congratulations.
Yep, congratulations. I'm new to this broadcasting thing, by the way. That's why I'm stepping over everyone when I talk. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk or not. I had people talking in one ear, the drivers talking in one ear during the session while I'm trying to announce. It was crazy, but I'll get better at this for sure. Plus, it's been a while since the few times I have done it, but.
Congrats, Zach. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
ZACK NOVAK, your winner. Let's talk with Landon Huffman and Anthony. Floor is all yours.
Landon Huffman back in the Esports Racing League. First race back for the league in about a year. Came up 1 spot short tonight. I thought you were going to be close enough to pull off the bump and run. I've seen you do it in real life. I think you've done it to me. I think I've done it to you. It just looked like you needed to be about a car length closer to get it done. What do you think you needed there to get the win?
I should have took 2 tires. I think I was the fastest car about the whole race. Blake had no idea what he was doing the first 30 laps, and it helped him because he didn't wear his right side. So he was really fast right there at the end of the long run. But it was a lot of fun. Zach took 2. I didn't think 2 would pay off like that, but I think the left side's just tightened the car up too much, and he was able to roll and still have right side grip. So I did everything I could to get to him. At first, I got to his bumper, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can ride here because I thought he might get worse with tires. But hell, he got better with tires, and I got worse. So That was a lot of fun. That was fun going through the field, passing cars. Everybody raced well. I mean, that was probably one of the more fun league races I've ran in a while.
I'm glad to hear that, especially with it being the first race back in some time. We wanted to start off with a bang. A lot of exciting, unique events on the schedule this season. The next week actually falls right into your lap. The 1987 cars at Hickory. You race there weekly, chasing a track championship, a solid finish in the national championship as well. You're up there in the standings right now, doing a great job in your late model, and I know you're probably excited about that one, probably more so than anybody else. So I'm sure you're confident you could get that one spot better next week, don't you think?
Yeah, the 87s are fun at Hickory. You wear the tires a lot, so it'll be really loose if we run the fixed set, which I'm assuming we will since we did here. But they're a lot of fun there. They wear the right rears, so it'll put on racing just like this was. They're just a little harder to drive, but I'm looking forward to Hickory. Anytime I can run Hickory on the game, it's fun. It's a little bit too fast versus the real world, but 87 cars kind of slow it down a little bit, so it should be a good time. And we have a good group of racers in here. I mean, this is a good field. I don't know if we'll have these guys every single week, but if these guys continue to come back, the racing in this league it'll be good all the way through.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's a lot of big names that were unable to make it tonight, especially with it just being an off week and whatnot for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series and real life as well for some of the drivers. They just wanted to take a break. So I'm excited to see that car count continue to grow with very experienced sim racers, real life drivers, content creators, and popular members of the community. But as you mentioned, I think a great first race, and you guys put on a show. So thanks for coming out.
Yes, sir. I got to get you an entry fee. I didn't, to be honest with you, I forgot that we're racing. I text you. I said, are we racing tonight? And,
yeah, I think I was in the booth when you texted me.
And then I seen, I'm like, oh my God, I got to accept the league invite. And I got in with like a minute left in qualifying. So I didn't even practice. That's why I started last.
Well,
but we're in now. So
it was fun watching you come to the field. Yeah, we'll get that entry fee straight now. I know ZACK, the first thing he said in his interview was, well, I guess I'm only getting $40 or whatever because I'm going to take the entry fee out of his winnings. But Landon, great job tonight. We'll see you next week, man.
Thanks, guys.
There you have it. Let's talk with the third place finisher, Blake Reynolds. And Blake, you had a charge from the back to the front as well, kind of similar to Landon, but sure enough, you're right there in the thick of things at the very end. Take us through your night.
Yeah, it was kind of unexpected, I'll be honest with you. I got in practice, and I'm consistent, like a tenth and a half off, and I'm just like, I cannot find the speed. Like, I could not find it, but, we get in the race there, and everyone's just driving away from me, and I'm just vibing. I'm passing a couple people, and all of a sudden, everyone just starts coming back to me. So I was saving tires. I didn't even know it. So luckily that happened, and then the caution flew, and I was in the lead. So that kind of kept me up there at the end, and couldn't really get into the fight with NOVAK and Landon there, but I had a good battle with Frisch.
Looking ahead next week, the 87s at Hickory, a little bit different, but still short track racing in vehicles that pretty darn tough to drive.
Yeah, those cars are, in my opinion, a little too fast for there. I think they stopped racing Hickory when those cars were there. I don't know the history or anything, but just knowing how those cars deliver power with the right foot, that should be pretty tough. And then also, I can only imagine the contact at Hickory. I've done a couple super late races there. I did Landon's event he put on last year. So, I mean, I don't even know what to think, but it should be fun if the same field's here tonight. That was just good, clean, hard racing, a little bit of contact, but it was all clean contact, good contact. So, if everything stays the same, it should be just as fun next week.
I'm definitely excited about it. Blake, thank you for coming out too. I wanted to make a mention for you. You've been in the esports racing league since it started, a supporter of the league and a winner in the league early on in its days. So it was great to see you back out there and have a strong run to start the new season off.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I completely forgot. I didn't. Someone asked me, "Are you running this?" I'm like, "Wait, that's tonight." So I don't know. Maybe I have the Discord pings turned off, but
gotta do a better job at promoting or something, because you're out of our top 3 finishers, you're the second one to come in the booth and say that you forgot we were racing tonight.
Well, I'm sure I'm also the third one to tell you, oh, I didn't even know I had to pay to be here. So I heard that was an issue. So
that was the top 3. I mean, I guess like 15 Discord messages isn't enough, but we'll get it figured out for next week, and it's all for the sake of everyone. It's the greater good. The entry fees are covering prize money, so everyone could race for $50 to win every week, which isn't bad, especially in tonight's case where it's basically a 45-minute race, and the winner essentially made more than $1 per minute.
Yeah. Pretty cool. But last thing I want to say, shout out to Jim Beaver Esports. Obviously don't have a paint scheme, but luckily Next Level Racing has a 1 and 2 in the paint booth. So I was able to slap those on my street stock here, and I tried to make it look like my Coke car. So shout out to Jim Beaver Esports, General Tire, I'm not sure if those are on this car, Vision Wheel, of course, Next Level Racing, and all our partners.
Congrats, Blake, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Blake Reynolds, our 3rd place finisher. Well, that was a fun night of racing, wasn't it?
It was. It went by really quick because, like those guys said, long green flag runs, fast pace, action-packed. It was just edge of your seat most of the time, and with it going green, the race just went by so quickly. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. That was a great way to get the season started, a clean, exciting race here in North Wilkesboro. Shout out to our top 3 finishers, and congratulations to ZACK, NOVAK once again. But I appreciate FTF and their whole crew, all you guys helping me out so that we can do a nice, clean, professional broadcast of the Esports Racing League this season. It means a lot to me that you guys stepped up to the plate to help me with this, since I don't know anything about what I'm doing when it comes to the broadcasting, as we were talking about earlier. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and this is just a small taste of what we can expect this season.
I'm glad we were brought on board, and hopefully you did well enough to come back next week, right?
Absolutely. I think you earned that privilege for sure.
Excellent. Well, it's been a lot of fun here tonight for the Esports Racing League from North Wilkesboro. ZACK, NOVAK, your winner. For Anthony Alfredo running the league in the commentary booth. For Zach Johnson, our producer, I'm Jacob Hitz. We'll see you in Hickory a week from tonight.